time for a little bit of language. I hope that you're doing well and that you are ready to begin. This part, this would be, let's see, lesson 145. Holy cow, we've done that many. Independent clauses, and it's supposed to be, I don't know when you're doing it, but it's supposed to be for Tuesday, April 14th. Now, the last time we were together, you worked on 282 and finding those prepositional phrases. So we'll look at that in just a second. Let's pray. Father, thank you for giving us again a language that we can learn how to understand, we can learn how to use, and we can purpose to use it in ways that bring you honor and glory and ways that make us able to communicate what you want us to communicate with people. We love you and we thank you for what you're going to teach us today. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, if you would open up your textbook then to 282 that we did the last time that we were together. This is kind of a little review for you. Prepositional phrases. Remember, a prepositional phrase, if you put parentheses around them, you're going to have the preposition first, and you're going to have a noun at the end that's the object of the preposition, and you may have an adjective in the middle. Now today, if you look at that page, 1 through 9, we found there were prepositions in each one of those sentences, as most of our sentences are going to have them in them if they're a good complete sentence. We had as a girl, in the lighthouse. Number 3 was off the island. Number 4, around the house. Number 5, in the towers. Number 6, by Abby. Number 7 had 2, which often happens. Into the sea, by the shore. Number 8, from the raging sea. Number 9, after the storm. So as you can see, there can be multiple prepositional phrases in one sentence, and they can also be at the beginning or the end. Sometimes they're in the middle of a sentence, depending upon how long the sentence is. So that's kind of a little set you up for today. Now we want to be thinking about now, if you'll turn the page, independent clauses. And this, even though it has kind of a long adultish sound of a name, it's really not that difficult. An independent clause, as I can show you right here, an independent clause stands alone. Now let's talk about that for just a second, an independent clause. When you hear the word independent, what do you think of? Well, right now, you do not have a whole lot of independence. You can't just up and leave your home and wander around. You can't go out in the middle of the night. Your parents would say, no, don't do that. It's not safe. You can't, just get up and eat whatever you want whenever you want it. So really right now, you don't have a lot of independence. However, someone that is considered independent, they can now, like an adult, they can go out, they can drive wherever they want to, they can eat whatever they want, they can wear whatever they want, they're independent. They could stand alone. They don't necessarily have someone governing them all the time. Not that you ever are completely independent. There's always someone that's going to be able and have the authority to tell you what to do. And when I say that, I mean, the police officer could say, pull over to the side of the road, and you would need to do that. A doctor would tell you, take this medicine. It's what's going to help you get better. That would be someone that you would want to listen to, and you would be dependent on them making decisions for you that would be helpful. But an independent person can make their own decisions. They can stand alone. So an independent clause, just like I've shown here, is actually a sentence. It is a sentence. Why does it is a sentence? Because it has a subject and it has a predicate and it has a complete thought. Now let me show you an example of that. Here is an independent clause, which is a sentence. It's simple. Jesus saves. We have a subject, Jesus. We have a verb, saves. We have a whole thought, Jesus saves. Now, is that the best sentence ever written? No. Yes, it is as far as meaning for us as believers. But as far as the sentence goes, could you add more to it to make it fuller? Sure. But right how it is an independent clause. It has a subject, it has a verb, and it has a complete thought. On the other hand, if you've got words that do not stand alone, they're considered a fragment. You might remember this from when we were talking about very early in the year about complete and incomplete sentences. A fragment, it's not a sentence and it's missing a part. Let's go back to the one I just talked about to you. If I just said, and I left out Jesus here, very important, most important person, but he's not a sentence all by himself because he has a subject, but he's lacking a verb here. Or the opposite could be true as well if we just said saves. Again, true, yes, we need it, but we need Jesus, we need a subject to be doing it. So that's how the difference is between a dependent clause and a fragment. So a clause is a whole sentence. An independent clause is a whole sentence. A fragment is not. So if you take a peek at 283 in your textbook, let's go ahead and jump right down to the guided practice. It says the Split Rock Lighthouse overlooks Lake Superior. Now when I read that and you think about it, the Split Rock Lighthouse overlooks Lake Superior. Well, let's see. It has a verb, overlooks. It has a subject, the Split Rock Lighthouse, and it has a complete thought. It overlooks Lake Superior. So that right there is an independent clause. It can stand all alone. It doesn't need anything else to be complete. Move down to number 2. Have visited the lighthouse. Are you thinking to yourself, who has visited the lighthouse? Well, if you ever have a question like that, that's probably leading you to believe it's probably a fragment because it's missing a piece. What's it missing here? It doesn't have a subject. It doesn't say who have visited the lighthouse. Susie and Johnny have visited the lighthouse. The class visited the lighthouse. Who? We don't know. So that means it's a fragment. It's not an independent clause. Number 3, tourists often visit the lighthouse. Well, we've got visit is a verb. Who does the visiting? The tourists. So we have a subject. Tourists visit. What do they visit? The lighthouse. So that, my friends, number 3 is an independent clause. It has a subject, it has a verb, and it has a complete thought. So when you think about it, it's really pretty simple. Has it got everything there that it needs, or does it not? If it's not, it's a fragment. It's a piece. Number 4, a tower 50 feet high. Does it feel like you're running along and then just get dropped? Yes. A tower 50 feet high, what? Again, it's missing a verb. The tower 50 feet high is massive above everything else. It just shows you there's something there that we don't have and is missing for us. So that's a fragment. Number 5, are shorter than the lighthouse. Again, who or what are shorter than the lighthouse? It's missing a piece, a fragment. Now, you're going to go ahead in 6, 7, and 8 to write an independent clause by adding a subject or a predicate. So they may need one or the other. An old ship. Well, an old ship. We don't have a verb. So you're going to have to use those 3 words and make it into a complete sentence. Number 7, felt during the storm. Who felt something during the storm? What did they feel? Write a sentence using those 4 words and have it make some sense, okay? Like it's complete. Visit the lighthouse. Again, give it a subject. It doesn't have one. I'm going to leave that for you to do in just a minute. Now, I want you to look over at the next page, 284. 284, numbers 1 through 5, are the very same as the guided practice on the previous page. The Split Rock Lighthouse was built in 1910. Split Rock Lighthouse subject was verb, complete thought, independent clause. Number 2, ships traveled frequently on the Great Lakes. The ships traveled, subject, verb, perfect sense, makes sense, that's an independent clause. Number 3, became the leading industrial nation. What became the leading industrial nation? We don't have a piece there. We don't have a subject, so that's a fragment. So you see how that's done. So I'm going to go ahead and let you finish the 3 from the page before and the rest up through 8 there.
Hello again.
I just wanted to add a little tag onto the lesson about independent clauses. Some people have wondered a little bit about the apply and write on page 284. And yes, you do need to do that. It's just a little postcard, as if you were sending it to a friend. And the instructions tell you to describe your favorite lighthouse. Well, I don't know about you, but I've only been to one lighthouse and I don't remember the name. So you probably don't know the name of a lighthouse either. So if you don't have a favorite, go ahead and use the one that they used on there on 283, that Split Rock Lighthouse. You can pretend like that's your favorite one. The key here to this part of the assignment is to make sure that everything on your postcard has complete sentences, has complete independent clauses in it. All right? I hope that helps. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.